And in many ways, a lot of the elements or programs we're going to chase are things that aren't necessarily being addressed by government programs and other groups today. So, as an illustration, we're talking to university alumni and graduate student groups in terms of entrepreneurial speaker series and how to get them connected with angels, understanding what a startup's all about. We are directly involved with restarting the Venture Capital Association of Alberta to get VCs, law firms, accounting firms more directly plugged into that and use it as a vehicle to promote programs, dinner events, networking functions, counseling, and help tutorial sessions for startups directly. Networking vehicles to get VCs mingling with startups. We're interested in getting mentoring networks connected either between startups and angels or startups and proven CEOs, because what you find is a lot of startups in Alberta and elsewhere don't have good mentoring networks. They're unconnected with a lot of the players in the industry in the U.S. And so what we're trying to do is give them very tangible support and tangibly get them connected to the underlying theme of everything we do is going to be targeted. So STIR is targeted, and it's specifically for small groups where we get technology people talking about meaningful subjects and networking. Last week we helped sponsor and organize a clean tech symposium where we had a panel of, I think it was 8 clean tech VCs that we helped bring in, and the audience was full of startup companies and other stakeholders. So the VCs, talked about what they look for in a deal, talked about what their funds are all about, and there was a big Q&A after where startups could either network with them or learn from them. After that, we hosted a working lunch where we brought all the VCs together in a closed session to talk specifically about what they need to see to get deal flow in Alberta, how we can help them, how we can connect them, what's missing, what's the challenges with startups, how do they get to them. So that, working sessions like that are a lot of what we're talking about.
Right. So right now, do you guys have a website or a blog where you maintain to announce or get those information out?
Yeah, we do have a website. I'll read it for you.
All right.
We're at, this URL will change, but the change will be redirected. It's www.aet.alberta.ca/AEC.
Wow. So that would be an information clearinghouse. So, for example, the events like the Clean Tech seminar or symposium, those information will be posted on the website where people can get to know what kind of things you guys are doing and maybe get more involved.
Yeah, it may be. But again, what AEC doesn't want to be is the center point or the go-between. What we would rather do is have, for example, the BCAA host its sponsorship organization of these things. Again, what we're trying to do is get private industry to own these things, the organization of these things. So, in fact, if you go to our website, it will only talk at a high level of what we're trying to do with regards to fund-to-funds and ecosystem development. A lot of what we'll be doing is behind the scenes and directly getting private industry initiatives going. So, the alumni associations of the universities have a website. That's where you're going to see what their programs are going to be about. If you want to see a further illustration of what we're talking about, go to Stanford University. The Stanford Technology Venture Program is a very good example of what we're trying to implement here. And that is a private standalone initiative that is not a university program, sponsored by private industry and venture capital funds.
Right. Speaking about Stanford, Stanford has an entrepreneur corner where they have a whole bunch of great videos with VC or tech people or interesting talk and what. Is there a plan to have actually someone do it, maybe as a start, like you guys do it, and then when someone else can take over the task? The thing is, those great speakers.
We could have you do it.
Yeah, sure. You can hire me to do it.
Yeah, we're looking at that. Again, our interest is not doing it ourselves, but finding somebody in private industry to do it. We'll help organize it. We'll help fund them.
Right.
But we don't want to own that over time.
You're saying this fund is currently funded for 10 years. Is that right?
Well, no. The way it works
how does it work?
The funds, these venture capital funds, typically have a 10-year life, right? So And there's very structural reasons for that, but one of them is they need sufficient time to do, early stage tech investments and grow companies. AEC doesn't necessarily have a timeline commitment where it's supposed to put out $100 million over so many years, nothing to that effect. We're supposed to find the best funds we can and help build the ecosystem. It's unclear as to how long AEC will be around currently. All that we know is, we've got an annual budget going out a few years, and we have an initial allocation of $100 million for the first venture funds. Our hope is that there'll be additional allocations for other funding vehicles to follow.
So the $100 million, in principle, you can actually, if you find 6 or whatever number of great funds this year, they can conceivably
put it all out this year.
All this year.
Now,
practically, it's going to take a little bit longer.
It'll take longer.
What's the time frame?
Yeah, what you'll find is historically it takes roughly 2 years or more to create a venture fund. If you're an existing fund with track record, brand name, you can go out and maybe raise. In hotter times, you could do it within a year. In the current environment, it could take you 2 years. For a brand new fund team that's got no track record or hasn't been together as a team before, it could take 3 years. So realistically, it could take at least 3 years for us to deploy the $100 million. And just as a matter of education, when we commit to a fund, we actually don't give them all the money up front. What we do is, and this is standard in the industry, it's not just us, is we make a commitment, and the funds that we commit to a given venture capital manager are called year after year over a period of time.
So it's extended or not extended. If the funds are going out in milestone, based on milestone, and if they meet it, then how does that work?
The way it works is,
let's say you commit like $15 million to a fund. How would the money trickle out to it?
The way it works in the industry is a standard procedure is when we first commit to it or on the first close, we would say give them 10% of the $15 million to get started. And then the way it would work is over time, and the milestones you refer to is deals done. So let's say the fund in year one, at the end of year one and into year two, has 2 deals that they want to fund. They would issue a cash call to get sufficient monies to fund those initial investments. They only really call money as they need it.
Right.
So it's really
as they close the deal, then
flow.
We need X million, and then that goes we need 500,000, whatever. Then it goes out. Okay, all right. So I guess some Albertans may have this question. So AEC's accountability is the Crown Corporations. So how does it make it transparent, and what is the accountability? Do you guys have to give a report to the Alberta government every year? How much money has been spent? What are the returns? Shed some light on that.
Yes, we're Crown Corp, arm's length from the government. We've got our own separate board, an independent industry board. If you go to the website, you can see who that is. So I report to the board and myself report to Minister Horner, who's Advanced Education Technology. We are required to submit annual audited statements and reports. The reports would talk to the milestones and progress over the year, and funds deployed, commitments made to VC funds, ecosystem elements. It wouldn't talk so much to financial results because, again, the funds that we invest in have a 10-year life, and in reality, the results, the final results won't be known till the end of the fund. All we can report on financially is values of the funds over time, which are driven by the startups within the fund's portfolio and the value of those startups and that sort of thing. So